When we look back on what was deemed Liberation Day for some, but a very confusing process for others, to have agriculture even named as a part of that speech was really disappointing, not only because we understand the US doesn't have enough beef to feed its own population, the fact that we have been a long-term stable partner in that process, it was disappointing that we get been caught up in it.
And we do know that PM Albanese is going to meet with Trump very soon. How can he use that meeting to really stand up for our farmers?
We want to absolutely talk about how we are in a trade deficit and how they are a very strong ally of ours. We want to talk about the fact that we want to be their preferred supplier when they cannot meet their domestic requirements internally. But ultimately, we don't want to jeopardise Australian farmers. As a part of that, absolutely push our trade credentials, the fact that we have very low sovereign risk, we are a great ally, but also we have high expectations and standards around biosecurity that won't be compromised.
We do have high standards, and I think a lot of people that we've been speaking to are like, we don't want American meat. But there is talk that PM Albanese might perhaps open that door as a bargaining chip with Trump. What kind of an impact would that have if we allowed American meat into our country?
We already have a pathway for meat that is, cattle that is born, raised and then slaughtered in the US to come to Australia. There's already a pathway for that to occur. We are currently going through a process of looking at the Mexican and Canadian producers to ensure that there is adequate biosecurity and also assurity pathways that have evidence that the cattle are in good health. Once that's been looked at and investigated, then we can have a discussion around opening up trade because they are able to meet and comply with their biosecurity. But at the moment, the US beef has got a pathway through. It isn't about trying to block their produce. It's about them making sure that they're complying and conforming to our standards.
Is there anything that mainstream media is missing about this discussion?
Probably the human aspect of what this actually means. As far as, yes, there's a lot of numbers on balance sheets and there's a lot of trade numbers that are bantied around, but the fact that the Australian producer has quietly gone about their business producing some of the highest quality food, and as an Australian, we probably take for granted the fact that when you pick up any article out of the supermarket, it is deemed safe. And so that human face of what this trade means and what it has affected not only to their businesses, but then the fact that they're not being acknowledged for the hard work they have put into their produce is the missing link in this story in my eyes.